Hello, welcome to the Scale Modelling Cafe. Welcome to this week's update. Lots to talk about, so let's get cracking. Sprue tour last week was the Airfix Chinook, a beautiful moulded kit, typical of 2024 Airfix actually. It's lovely. Thanks very much for Dave Fleming and putting his Facebook post that I shamelessly stole and read out with all the things that he's noticed. And yeah, I hope you all found that useful. The glaring thing for me is the mesh on the cones. I'm actually going to hold off on building mine, and I'm going to wait until some aftermarket company comes up with a solution, because I think that's going to make a massive difference to that. But I do intend to build that at some stage. Next week's sprue tour is actually the current project. The Kinetic Sea Harrier looks absolutely lovely on the sprues, as you'll see, not really reflected in the build experience, which is a really nice segue, sort of planned, to update you on my progress. And here it is. So as you can see, she's in private. Now this is take 2, and I did find that I kept on holding it up like this, which cast a shadow, because I've got a light just down there across my face. So I'm going to try and hold it up here, but I will put some pictures going on up there. Right, so saga of the intakes then. Thank you very much for your feedback, telling me I'd glued on the doors on the intakes the wrong way round. Actually, I'd done it hinged from the rear. They actually hinged from the front. That's me not really paying much attention, or not enough attention, which is a real pain. Let's move this a little bit closer. A real pain. I had noticed it as well myself, and I was trying best to ignore it, and then a few people pointed it out, and I was like, Now my friend I'm building this for has got a real, he won't mind me saying this, I'm sure, he's got a real eye for detail, and guaranteed he'd notice as well. So I bit the bullet, and I managed to prise the intakes off. So luckily I didn't use the 5-minute epoxy. It was just tacked into place with super glue and then a bit of extra thin type glue, and I prized them off and managed to get the doors out, and then I glued them back in the right place. In my research looking at the doors and how they were configured, I did notice that the early FRS1s painted in the extra dark sea grey over white, not blue, is extra dark sea grey over white. The intakes were actually extra dark sea grey, and I'd done them white, like most people assume that they are, but they're not. They were extra dark sea grey. So with the intakes off, that was a good opportunity to repaint those, which I have done. And yeah, so sorted out the doors, glued the intakes back on, more filling, more scribing. What I did decide to do in the end was, because the fit was a bit crap at the bottom, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, rubbish, I might bleep that out. I thought I'd get a neater result if I just filled in the closed doors and just scribed them back in, which I've done, and it does look really quite neat actually. So I'm glad I went down that route. The wings going on, one piece upper wing, including the I've done it again, shadow. One piece upper wing, 2-piece underwings. Fit was pretty hopeless actually. So I used quite a few shims and things on the underside, which worked quite well. I scraped down the mounting sort of lip at the front. That helped that seat better. The big clamps, as you saw last week, held everything in place while the glue dried, and then copious amounts of Mr. Hobby epoxy filler on the top, at the front and at the back, and then a complete rescribe job. And actually it's looking really neat. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. Talking of the wings, flaps in the dropped position, they were quite nice. The ailerons, they're glued in the neutral position. you can have them drooped, which I didn't want to do, and the fairings underneath for the actuators are rubbish. First of all, they've got 2 pins, one for the wing, one for the aileron, but there's only a hole in the aileron, so that's not too bad. You just cut the front pin off, easy. But there's a significant step. So what I did is I had to cut the actuator in half, glue the 2 halves on, and then do a little bit of reprofiling. It wasn't that difficult, if I'm honest. Gun packs on, drilled out the gun barrels, drilled out the exhaust ports, which are missing, added a bit of extra detail. The tail planes, the mounting is, they're really thin actually, and not much contact area, and very fragile looking. So they're drilled and pinned, which was a bit fraught because, like I say, they're very thin, and then had to use filler as well. So they're on. Filler. The rudder is too short, so that had a plastic shim, sanded, that's on. What else? The gear, the main gear doors, they've been glued on with the droop, and the undercarriage. So the main gear leg was, the top of it was cut off. A bit of brass tubing, galvanized, was glued in, and then the bit that slides into, the bigger bit of brass tubing, was drilled out and put in the fuselage. So now the main gear leg will just move up and down. It will just slide up and down. The intention being that the weight of the model will be held on the nose gear and the outriggers, allowing the main gear leg to float up and down. So that will just float down with gravity, which means all 4 wheels will be in contact. And it's something that whenever I do a Harrier, which is rare if I'm honest, that's what I do, and it just guarantees that all the wheels will, will be seated on the ground. So I've done that. And yeah, what else? That's it really for the actual airframe. And as you can see, it's in primer. One thing I have done, and I'll put a little video clip up here, is for the ordnance and the pylons, I've actually used magnets. I've got some little 1mm magnets that I bought off Amazon, dead cheap, a few pounds. Drilled them out, glued them in to the wing, glued them into the pylon, and now they just kind of snap on, which is going to be really convenient for traveling back. The other, I've been really clever here. Now, I'm going to give myself a massive attaboy here, and I'm going to take all the credit for this. Oh, I know, pilots say, and their arrogance. What I've done is I've reversed the magnet polarity on the wings. So you can't put the incorrect pylons on the incorrect side. It'll only go one way, because otherwise they'll just repel. Aren't I a genius? So I'm really pleased with that. If only I could patent that and make some money out of my amazing idea, but I can't. So I've done that. So I'll put that little video, sort of shrink it down up there. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how that's come out. The sidewinders, you only get 9 lemurs in the kit. I bought some res kit 9 lemurs because the original plan for this was going to be a Falklands War model. It's not. It's now going to be in the early scheme. Therefore, I need 9 Golfs. All I've done is I've made the fins for the 9 Golf, and I'm going to stick them on. Or rather, I have stuck them on. So I've made my own fins because I don't have any 9 Golfs out here with me. And annoyingly, you don't get any 9 Golfs in the kit. You get AMRAAMs, weirdly. But, well, it's a generic set of ordnance for all their Sea Harriers, or all their Harriers. So you could put an AMRAAM on your GR3 if you wanted to, or your T8, because why would you do a T4 when you can do a T8? There we are. That is the progress with the Harrier. I'm so glad I'm at the painting stage. It's been an absolute chore to get there. but I am pleased with how it looks. Right, on with the news. But before we go to the news, what I will say is, as you know, two of my girls, got 3 of them and a boy, 2 of the girls are running the London Marathon for a charity that's very close to their hearts. Wizz Kids. Wizz Kids is a charity that raises money for children and young adults that are wheelchair users to help out them and their families. And it's a subject close to the heart because their best friend from their old place near Yeovilton, unfortunately has contracted something really rather nasty and is confined to an electric wheelchair. They wanted to run the London Marathon and raise money for the charity, which is very noble. And a lot of you have been very generous so far. But Matt has donated a Qatari Spitfire for to raise money for the charity. And I've had a real think of how best to raise money and maximise the kind of earnings from Matt's very, very generous donation. And what I come up with is, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build it. I'll do a review. I'll build a model for the channel. I will donate the ad revenue for that month to the charity. I will take pictures as I go along, and I'll write it up as a magazine article, and I'll donate the fee for that to the charity. And what I'll do is I'm going to auction off the model on eBay at the end, so actually sell the model, which is a bit of a shame because I really want a Qatari Spitfire in my collection, but it's all for a good cause. So look out for that. I'm actually going home in 3 weeks' time, and Matt is sending that to me as we speak, so I'll be able to bring that back with me. I'll do a sprue tour as well. Unfortunately, what that is going to do is it's going to kick the laminar flow design Mark 14 conversion down the queue by 1, but I want to do that off the back of it. But it is for a very good cause. If any of you want to donate to the charity, again, I'll put a link at the bottom. If you can think of any ways of raising money, I've got an Airfix B24 up there that I can't really build because it's too many sticky out bits, and it's a bit of an awkward shape to get back home in one piece when built. So what I might do is maybe think of doing some sort of raffle thing for that. That might be the best way to raise money for it. Let me know what you think. I don't really want to go down the sort of third-party route because they'll take a small fee, and that doesn't sit with me. What I might do is just announce when the raffle is going to take place, and then you can donate direct to the charity, which would be a good way, because if you're a UK taxpayer and you tick the gift aid box, then the girls will get a little bit of extra money from courtesy of His Majesty's government, which would be good. And that might be a way of raising a little bit more money than the value of the kit if I was just to sell it on eBay. So just let me know what you think. Quite a few of you have donated already, which is absolutely fantastic. I'll put a link at the bottom, and even £1. If every one of my subscribers donated just £1, they would double their target. There we are. Maybe there's a kit in the stash that it's a decent kit, but you're not going to get round to anytime soon. So maybe you'd want to sell that on eBay and donate that money. That might be an idea. I'm going to be doing that myself. So yeah, thinking caps on, everybody, and and let's raise some money for Wizz Kids. Right, on to the news then. I mentioned laminar flow designs in the 32nd scale Spitfire Mark 14. Well, Matthew's also, as many of you will know, if you regular viewers of this, is doing it in 48th. He's published some photos of some cockpit detail parts that are going to be for the forthcoming 48 scale kit. And I'm definitely going to get that as well. And I'm definitely going to build it. I think I might want to do a Mark 18 Razorback for that. I think that might be my plan, but we'll have to see. But yeah, that looks really, really cool. Matthew's also doing the Mark 5 conversion for the Tamiya kit. And yeah, I want to do that as well, because I really want a Mark 5C Trop in a multi-ski in 32nd scale. And I'm not sure whether we're going to get one from Qatari or not. Certainly not anytime soon. So I'm really looking forward to that. Other news is Dora Wings have put up, not screenshot, what's the word I'm looking for? Not sprue shots. Test shot. That's the phrase I was looking for. Test shots of their Beaver, which looks absolutely stunning. And pictures of floats and skis. I don't know if they're going to be separate boxings, but if you wanted a float plane or wanted a ski-equipped Beaver, then it's coming. So that's exciting times. Also, on a kit that is out, Clearprop have just released the engine upgrade for the DH88 Comet, which is utterly beautiful. If you go to their YouTube channel, you can see the sort of animation of the CAD renderings and the kit parts going together, including the engine, and it looks stunning. And again, I'll bung some pictures up here so you can have a look at that. One new kit, one that I'm quite excited about, is Border Model have announced a 1/35th scale FW190 A8, and it looks like all the A8 sub-variants are to blah, 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 blah. So that includes the Sternbock version, which, yeah, I really quite fancy that model, if I'm honest. The A6 has had rave reviews. There's some beautiful models built up of that. The engine alone looks utterly stunning. Yep, it's kicked off the 35th aeroplane debate. Again, some people, you know, it's very polarizing. I don't know why people get so worked out. If it's not your thing, just don't buy it. I don't know why you have to, you know, throw yourself around so much, but to coin a phrase, but there we are. Some people absolutely despise just the very idea of it. I've done a whole video chat on it, and I'll link that at the end. There we are. We've got to the end of this week's show. Check out the Facebook page, actually, for regular updates of the progress on the Kinetic Sea Harrier. I'm about to go and paint that. Just monitor the channel. I've got a few ideas for a few chat pieces. Sprue tour for this thing is out next week. Yeah, I've got other sprue tours in the can already uploaded. And yeah, look out for, I've got to edit it actually, the final part of the Tripala. I never even mentioned that in the at the beginning in the update set. Maybe because I haven't edited it yet. We shall see. I'll try and get that done for Sunday, but I'm not promising anything. There we are. I'll leave it there. Go check out the Wizz Kids charity. If you could even just donate £1, the girls would be delighted with any donations. Large, which would be fantastic, or even small, like just £1. And thinking caps on, please, guys, and let me know if you've got any ideas. There we are. I'll leave it there. Thanks very much. I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.